So this is follow along. Look on your manual so that you know what's happening. Because along with the visual, there's some writing, but just so it's in front of you, so you know what's happening. So we worked the abdomen, and now we're transitioning up into the upper chest. So we're going to address these upper fibers of pec major, and I started doing things with yoga blocks. So I'm going to, excuse me, accident victim. Can you lift your head up, please? And I'm going to put your head down. Thank you. We're going to do this to start. Take the yoga blocks and put them on either side of the head and right up against the top of the shoulders.
Okay.
Okay, so this allows you to do this. You could, and our goal here is to add sustained compression into the upper fibers of the pec major. So we're distal or below the clavicle. One of the reasons, a lot of benefits about opening the chest on an energetic level in Chinese medicine, 3 of the energy lines in the arm start in and around the chest. The lung, the pericardium, and the heart. But also functionally, when you start loosening the chest, because we have so much forward shoulder syndrome, it helps open up the joints so that you can do different things with the arms. So we do this. Come stand up on either side of the wall, y'all, so you can see. So we can do a singular compression, which is the heel. So your foot's on the yoga block, and the purpose of the yoga block is to make this all one even plane. You dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that you can put your heel, the ball of your foot here, and then just let the heel sink in. Is that okay? Perfect. Right. So again, you have to be aware of the bony landmarks. So you're below the clavicle, and you're on the inside of the head of the humerus. So you see this contour here, that's the head of the humerus. So you want to be in the soft tissue. So easy, right? And as you look at this video, you might wonder why she has that blindfold on. And I'm going to tell you why, because I'm going to do a double.
No.
And she doesn't want to see
No,
it.
I really don't want to see that.
So that's why. So
Gotcha.
you tell me how that is there.
Yeah, that's good.
You've
Okay.
got a lot of weight in the balls of your feet?
Yes, a lot of weight in the balls of my feet. So sustained pressure, right? That's the first one. Easy. Okay, then, as in the manual, there's a few variations where you can come this way, and again, you palpate make sure you're below the clavicle. So you use your feet for palpation, right? You can feel here on the side the contour of the head of the humerus, right? And then here you feel the bony ridge of the clavicle. And you're going to come distal or below, and you could use either your toes real easy. So my heel now is on the yoga block. That pressure's okay? So it transfers easy. Other variation, heel, right? Again, okay. So those 3 variations. And I started using the yoga block to make everything equal as far as, people are different thicknesses, if you've noticed. So this equates, makes everything on an even playing field generally. So a nice use of yoga block. So after we're going to come to one side and start working. And a couple of things when we're adding compression. We're going to start just randomly. So the palm is down, but we're going to bend here like this a little bit. So this portion is in better contact with the mat as opposed to this.
Mm-hmm.
See, we're trying to come here. So this takes a little better compression. So we're going to start at the hand and work up. So I'm going to stabilize with this foot just to work the back of the hand. And because of the interdigitation here and the space in between The feet, I think in the manual I was just doing this here to get a little separation in the fingers. Right? The pressure's okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then I just stabilize the foot here, and then I'm going to take the pressure up here. So to remain stable, I'm going to keep the heel of this foot here, and I can just come. But I'm going to start right at the wrist joint. So like the ankle joint, I'm going to span both sides of the joint. So I'm going to be above and below it so that when you compress down, you get some openness in the carpals. That pressure's okay. And then you can just take it up the arm. So because we're basically working with the extensors of the forearm, the common point of attachment is here. So along with this compression here, we're going to do some sustained compression right at the common point of attachment. So that's why the anatomical sense that you can bring into the work informs what you're doing. You know, it defines why you're doing it. So also too, the two main bones here in this portion of the arm are the radius on the thumb side and the ulna on the little finger side. And there's this space in between that is very important because there's a lot of fascial binding in between. So this is more general compression because it spans both bones. And you are addressing the tissue in between, but to bring a little bit more specificity to it, right? You want to stay in line here, and then you can just come in with the heel. That pressure's okay? And you can come right into the bone, in between the bone. So working, working, working. And then we're going to continue that compression up here. So just nice and easy. Nice and easy. Use the right foot, says you're on video. Make sure you're not closing your stance. Man, I caught myself on that one. And then you just take it right up. Now, so we're doing this compression all the way up, right? Taking it, taking it. Then when you get to the humerus, we're going to transition, excuse me, we're going to transition into it being palm up. So if you start compressing here on the inside of the humerus, you start moving that arm. See how the palm is coming up? So you're loosening and then putting the arm in the next position, which is palm up. Okay? And we're going to start, now this is where the variations come in. You can start any way you want to open up this portion here. So I come in like this. Again, inside of the humerus, addressing soft tissue. So the way I do it is I'll feel for the humerus and then just fall off of it on the inside so you're addressing. Is that okay?
Good.
Any more in there?
Perfect right there.
Okay. Easy. So basically I start on the humerus and just turn.
Well, it's not just in your ankle, it's in your almost your whole leg. Sort
I'm
of.
sorry?
Almost your whole leg moves, not
Yeah.
just your ankle tilt.
Like this. So then, a couple of things to think about. Like we had mentioned, you know, a forward shoulder is very common now, where you have the shoulder pulled forward. And some of the extenuating circumstances of that is definitely the pecs, particularly pec minor, because of its attachment on the coracoid process. And because of its angle, brings the shoulder forward. Two other muscles, though, that are causal factor in the arm is the coracobrachialis, which is the muscle in between the bicep and the tricep, and also the short head of the bicep. They all attach at the coracoid process, the same place where the pec minor attaches. So when addressing forward shoulder syndrome, whatever you feel is applicable, along with addressing the pecs, but also I would highly recommend coming in and along with after general compression, and again I'm using the heel and just sinking in, that I drop down a little bit so my toes can come into coracobrachialis. Yes?
How do you help teach newer feet to palpate the difference between like nervy artery stuff and coracoid break?
I use the contour of the muscle.
Okay.
So here's the head of the bicep. My heel's on the ground, so I'm stable.
Mhm.
And I just come right off, immediately off of that. And that other stuff is a little deeper.
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Oh, yes, sure.
I don't want to reveal her secret identity. That's why I kept.
I thought you were talking to Jenny. Sorry.
No, of course. How
Okay.
could you know? Okay,
Never
easy,
mind.
right?
Mhm.
And again, remember, your intention stays the same, but how you approach, remember that the arm moves, so if you need more space, you move the arm, right? You can come in from the side. Tension and intention same, but how you approach different. Look, check them out. How does this inform your work, this placement? See, to me, this feels a lot better. Here. Okay, come. And then you're going to come into the elbow. So now we're working with the flexors, the muscles that close the hand, right? Flexion indicates closure of the joint. So as we start our compression, this common point attachment of the flexors is here, where the extensors was on the other side. Now you have here, so you start with some nice sustained compression at the common point of attachment of the flexors. And then you can just take that down. So, one thing in shiatsu and in Thai massage, when they talk about the energy lines that run through the arm, that is the same premise in shiatsu and Thai massage. They say that the energy flows through the body, but it can get stuck in the joints, right? Because that establishes some bend, which creates resistance. So you want to be specific to all the joints. Like you don't, like the knee, you don't compress directly into the elbow, but when you take the compression down and get to the wrist crease, you want to not only address below it here where the points are, but you want to span the joint, because like when it was palm down, it helps open the joint up when you compress on either side. And then you can take that compression right out of the hand. Okay. And again, you want to try to be specific to in between things. So I would change my acclimation. You could either use your heel to come in between, right, all the way down into the palm, the wrist, or else you can have your foot in alignment and just come straight down like this. And in this alignment, you can come right into the hand, not only with the balls of your feet, but also with the heel of your hand. Okay, so just a little bit more. So we started by loosening here with the blocks. And then we started compressing with the palm down. So we started from the hand and went up.
Mhm.
And then we compressed here to get the hand to transition into palm up.
Mhm.
And we started here and compressed here. And all of this to help free up the shoulder girdle. Right. So a couple of the other things that impede the full motion, a range of motion of the shoulder girdle, is the serratus anterior and the lat. So the lats are the muscle that makes up the back of your armpits. So this here, that's all lat, right? And the serratus is this bunch of banana muscles that's on the lateral side of the body, and it has a common attachment on the scapula. So we're going to address that to help free up the shoulder girdle by placing the arm in this position a little bit to open up. And like in the manual, we have the option of coming in with the balls of our feet and coming down. Go ahead, say what you have to say.
No, it's okay.
This-
Okay. No, it feels good. It does.
Yeah, does it?
Yeah. No, it's fine. It's fine.
So easy, Ron.
Yeah, no, you're good right there.
Now, I find a lot of times, now this is good, but sort of like this way a little better. Where you can back your heel up right in that parking space.
Bag it
And then you, let me know how that pressure.
Right there. That's good.
Because it fits so nice. And again, you know, the compression is one thing, but if you can find that natural connection with your body to theirs, go with that. So this.
I have a
easy.
question about this one, just
Mhm.
from the camera angle. It looks like your heel is wanting to go up here, but it's really your lateral edge is kind of going the back end of your foot.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I'm pulling right in there and then coming down here. So
Okay. Just for clarification,
should beep when I back
not a
up.
heel in the armpit.
Beep, 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 beep. And I'm really tight in there.
And that's actually the upper attachment of the lat
Right.
onto the humerus. And then, you know, if you want to follow it, you can turn a little bit like this, but you get the most bite at the upper attachment here. And I'm on my balls and the balls of my foot are on the ground, and I'm just sinking down into my heel. And then the other is the serratus here on the lateral side of the body. So how to address and this is in the manual too.
With men with hairy armpits, does it have to put a sheet?
Oh, probably, I guess. If you come down enough, though, and remember, you can position the arm in different ways, but I think probably that's maybe a good idea. This next one is arm is bent, and you're going to use the elbow as the point of contact, your foot at the hip, and then you're going to stretch this way. Keep that arm bent.
No,
Does she feel a pretty good stretch there?
yeah, I feel it more in my triceps and into. There it is.
So this is what we're trying to stretch right here, is the connection of the serratus here. So this bunch of bananas here. So you put the arm in stretch, and then you want to compress on the muscle a little bit, and use that toe. So one thing, the underlying structure of what you're compressing on is a good thing to know. So it's the ribs, and you know the ribs running this way. So you can turn your foot so it's right on the whole body of the rib, so that their body takes the compression better. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So just nice and easy. And the compression comes from contact here, but a slight bend in my knee, so I'm not efforting other than straightening my leg to get the pressure. So you loosen, and then to be a little bit more specific, just below or distal of the inferior angle, you turn your foot, and the heel goes right into that. Then you just work just below or just distal to the inferior angle of the scapula. Okay, so, and then we're going to do that on both sides. Right.
Awesome.
That looks lovely. Like it.